Hello friends, today we are going to learn a poem where the mind is without fear. It was composed by Rabindranath Tagore. So the poet is Rabindranath Tagore. First we'll recite the poem line by line and then we'll discuss the poem and we'll try to understand the meaning of the poem. Let's first but before that let's know about the poet and a little bit about the poem. So Rabindranath Tagore was the recipient of the Nobel Prize for Literature and he was awarded the Nobel Prize in 1913. Okay, he was a Nobel Prize winner, a Nobel Prize laureate. And he was a noted dramatist, novelist, short story writer, philosopher, and the founder of Vishwabharati University at Santiniketan. So he was a multi-talented person. Okay, his important works include Gitanjali, The Crescent Moon, Gora, The Home and the World, and Sadhana. And let me tell you, it is Gitanjali for which he was awarded the glorious Nobel Prize. So we can say that Gitanjali is his masterpiece. Gitanjali is the magnum opus of Rabindranath Tagore. This poem was originally composed in Bengali, but later it was translated in English by the poet himself. And it's a prayer to God. For what? For an ideal state of freedom. Okay? So this poem was composed before independence. So India was about to get freedom, but the poet Rabindranath Tagore was actually a visionary person. So he did not want only political freedom, freedom from the British rule. He actually wanted freedom in the real sense of the term. He wanted all kinds of freedom, freedom from all kind of evils and all kind of dividing factors and the factors um, that can prevent India from development. Okay, and another interesting point about the poem is that the whole poem is one single complex sentence. Okay, one single line runs through all the poetic lines of this poem, and you will find the full stop only at the end of the poem. Okay, so this is this poem is one single complex sentence. Now let's move on and first recite the poem. Okay, where the mind is without fear and the head is held high, where knowledge is free, where the world has not been broken up into fragments by narrow domestic walls, where words come out from the depth of truth, where tireless striving stretches its arms towards perfection, where the clear stream of reason has not lost its way into the dreary desert sand of dead habit, where the mind is led forward by thee into ever widening thought and action, into that heaven of freedom, my father, let my country awake. So, this is the poem. Now, we'll go line by line and we'll try to analyze the poem, we'll try to understand the meaning of the poem. The very first line of the poem is where the mind is without fear and the head is held high. So, the poet prays to God for an independent India where people are fearless. Okay? When people are fearless, they are truthful, they are honest. Okay? They do not fear. When they do not fear, it means they are not going to be guided by false beliefs, superstitions. Okay, so it is very important to be fearless in order to be in order to be called a citizen of a free India. Okay, so he actually wants the people of India to be fearless and the head is held high. Okay, the people should be proud of their culture and their identity. The people of India should not be suffering from inferiority complex. They should not feel low about themselves. Okay, so we need to be confident enough. Okay, we need to be proud. Only then we can move towards higher goals. Okay, the people of India should be fearless and they should be proud of their country. Next line is where knowledge is free. So here the poet dreams of an India where knowledge is freely available to all citizens, regardless of caste, religion, color, and gender. Okay, and knowledge should be gained in a natural way. Okay, it should not feel like a burden on the minds of children. So here the poet actually talks about the right to education, fundamental right to education, and all citizens of India should have this right to education. Okay. Now the next line, where the world has not been broken up into fragments by narrow domestic walls. In this line, the poet imagines of the world as united. He wants a united India. There should be no dividing factors like caste, color, religion, place, okay, language, or any kind of dividing factors, because these dividing factors are small and limited in outlook. So in order to be strong, in order to have a strong India and free India, we need to get rid of these narrow domestic walls which are dividing factors that break our unity. We need to be united and then strong, because we know that unity is strength. Okay, so in this line the poet prays to God for a united India. Next line, where words come out from the depth of truth. Now the people of India, the Indians should be truthful. Their words should have weight. Okay, so the poet prays for a nation where people are truthful. Okay, they are guided by truth. Their thoughts and actions are guided by truth. Next line, where tireless striving stretches its arms towards perfection. Now the poet wants the people to be working tirelessly, and they should strive harder and harder until they achieve perfection. It means the people, the Indians, should try to get excellence in their own particular field. They should work tirelessly. They should strive and aim at higher goals, and they should try to achieve excellence in the fields they are working in. Okay, where the clear stream of reason has not lost its way into the dreary desert sand of dead habit. Now in this line the poet has compared reason, it means the logical ability, with a clear stream of water. Our logical ability is like a clear stream of water. We should make sure that it does not turn into dreary desert sand of dead habit. Okay, here dead habit represents baseless beliefs and superstitions, and these baseless beliefs are have been compared with dreary desert sand. Dreary means dull. Desert sand, you know, that is infertile. So in order to have a creative mind, you must we must not be influenced by dead habits and baseless beliefs. So we should make sure that we have the logical ability that would be like a clear stream of water, and it should never ever turn into a dreary desert sand. It means we should make sure that we are not influenced by superstitions and we have creative mind. Okay, where the mind is led forward by thee into ever widening thought and action. Now in this line the poet prays to God to guide us and to inspire us so that our thought and action uh, gets the level of our thoughts and action gets wider and wider. How will this happen? So when we do not think of ourselves only, when we think of uh, our society, our country, and the world, then we are selfless, and that means the level of our thought and action has become higher and higher. So it will only happen when the God will be our guide and the God will inspire us. So that's why the poet prays to God to inspire the people of India in order to have higher and higher levels of thought and action. Okay. Now the last line is, into that heaven of freedom, my father let my country awake. So this kind of freedom where people are fearless, proud of their country and culture, where people are well educated and truthful and hardworking, when they aim higher, when their mind is guided by logical ability, they are not influenced by superstitions and baseless beliefs, when they are united. So, this is the kind of freedom that is called the heaven of freedom, and this is the heaven of freedom the poet dreams of and prays to God for. That's why he says, into that heaven of freedom, my father led my country away. O God, have mercy upon us so that our country enters that kind of heaven of freedom. So, that's it. I hope you understood the poem. Thank you, everyone.